Eziokwu omenala bụ nkume, ikuku adịghị ebu nkume. If the foundation is destroyed, what shall the people do? Ever since we abandoned our foundation, our ancestral roots, we became slaves, we became vagabonds, striving and struggling to find existence, struggling to define themselves. Onye si na nna ya wụ onye ala, isi aga dị ya mma. Whoever declares a war against his ancestors can never, ever. Whoever declares war against his ancestors can never have peace or harmony. And so, the challenge we are facing today is because we have abandoned our roots. And that is why the message of Back to Roots is all geared towards redirecting us so that until you discover the root cause of your problem, you can never recover.
Yes, sir.
Several times, many of us are experiencing what is called denial syndrome. Denying the reality. We have forged several relationships that are sabotaging our success. Relationships with Christianity, relationship with different foreign religions, the relationship with certain people that are not in harmony with our spiritual calling. That is why Back to Root message is a message of redirecting people to their true beingness. And so, in Nigeria today, we have become a comedy skit. which Shakespeare called it comedy of errors. Different story is heard on a daily basis. But I want to say here that as humans, we are supposed to be in charge of our environment. Unfortunately, we have abandoned our control of our life so that strangers now control our life. We are products of programming, psychic programming. Whatever you are today is the result of the program you absorbed from your childhood. When I talk of program, I'm talking about subconscious programming. And that's why today I want us to discuss about how to attune ourselves, our mind to prosperity. So attuning our mind to prosperity. Man is a habitual animal or a personality of habits. True or false? Whatever you are doing today has a beginning somewhere, unknown to you. And many of us have formed habits that are no longer helping us. When they ask you, you say that is the way you are. But the reality is that it is what you learned to practice. How many of you knew how to drive since you were born without being trained? How many people here? You were born and you just learned how to drive. Hello? So you learned how to drive. After learning how to drive, when you were learning how to drive, I could say very well that you were driving immediately without when you want to match brake, you match brake. When you want to match a throttle, you match it. Is it so?
No.
Find out that you will keep fumbling. There are some points when you master the art of driving, you will no longer even consider it as a chore. True or false?
True.
I remember the first time I drove, while I was leaving my uncle, I was always observing him. Whenever he's driving, I'll be observing his leg and his hands. He didn't know I was learning. One morning, I was to wash the vehicle as usual. I just put the key, turned the vehicle the way I was observing, and drove off. And the euphoria of driving made me forget that I needed to return the vehicle before he woke up. And I went so far. And coming back, I encountered lots of hold-ups. And when I returned, I knew that my life not finished that day. But when I came back, he was already for work, waiting. The first that I noticed that he was panicky. He didn't know what happened. Then when he saw me, I drove in. I parked. He didn't say a word. He came, looked around the vehicle. After looking, checking, no scratch. So give my key. I gave him. From distance, I went far. Because I know what next to follow. He didn't say anything. He went to work. Then when he came back, I was still scared. Then they asked me, where did you go? I told him where I went. He said, what? Who went with you? I said, nobody. Are you sure nobody? I said, yes. Who taught you how to drive? I said, you did. Me? I said, yes. How? When? He said, I was always observing you when you were driving. He said, is that so? Okay. All right. He just didn't talk. Then, after a while, he came, said he wanted to go out. He said that she will escort him. And he gave me key, drive. When I was drive, I was jittery. And he shouted, Onyori. Asking Jilo Kokita, Yejideria. Muhammad Anora, Mambo. Come on, will you drive? I've seen that you can drive. And that was all it took. I started driving perfectly. But what I'm trying to say here is that whenever there are unconscious programs you absorbed in your life, not knowing, and this program become a habit that control your life. Now there's what is called neural pathway or neural pattern. In the human mind or subconscious mind, there's what is called a neural pattern. Can somebody tell me what you understand neural pattern to be? When you say neural, what does neural represent? Those in the medical profession should come up here and talk to me. Neural talk about the psychic or the mind or the brain. Now when you talk about the neural pattern, you're talking about the way, brain waves or the paths that have been created, established. A neural pattern is what we commonly call habits. That is why poverty is a habit, as well as riches is a habit. Many people have become habitually poor that they know not any other form of existence. Even when they are praying, fasting, and making sacrifice that they want to be rich, there is an internal program that sabotages every effort they make. For anything that will benefit them, they will look at it with suspicion. In some cases, they will even forget to take action. Like there was a particular neural sabotage I experienced at a particular time. Now, there are many people that make money through betting and what have you. When my father-in-law died, he was very good at staking pool. And then, at that period, things was not so rosy for me to contribute my quotas, the money that was allocated to me. And so what I did was, I used cola, called my father-in-law. I told him that if you want me to support in his burial, that he should come and give me assistance. And my wife also appealed to him to give her assistance through pool, because he plays pool. Now I asked him to ensure that I have the means. If I don't have the money, I will never be part of that burial. And so, my wife, on her way going to market one day, found a paper. She picked it and saw that it was written pool numbers, about 5 numbers. And she said that she would play it. and she kept it. Only later at the weekend, she was passing somewhere, she saw numbers. She said, I've seen this number somewhere. And then she quickly remembered that one, brought it and looked at it. The exact 5 numbers came out. And she never played it. Now, you ask yourself, why was it that she didn't remember? Because there was a pattern in her mind that have resisted. Because while the father was playing pool in those days, they were all angry and unhappy with it, and you should never have anything to do with it. And so there's a subconscious program against that form of investment or business. Am I making sense? Yes. Sometimes certain habits we acquired begin to sabotage our efforts. So anything you are struggling to accomplish in life is just a representation of the fact that you don't support that. I want to say this. Anything that you are struggling to accomplish, it is an indication that your subconscious programming does not support that thing. This includes wealth, joy, sexual satisfaction, family, happiness, etc. Whatever it is in life that you're finding it difficult to accomplish is an indication that your subconscious programming does not support that thing. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Now, some of these things can be chemically coded. In other words, they can be a program for your past incarnation. Sometimes they can be coded because your higher self is protecting you against perceived danger. For example, there have been those who wanted to travel abroad. There have been those who tried to make money, but they could not succeed. On consulting the oracle, we discovered that in their past incarnation, they made a comment that they have nothing to do with money, that they don't need money in their life. Some made comment that they don't need Oyibo man, they don't want to travel, they don't need Oyibo in their life because of the damages done in Africa by the slave traders. Am I talking to somebody?
Yes, sir.
Now, whatever spoken word or thought you have implanted in your mind, either in the past incarnation, will continue to become relevant in your life because they are energy. Matters can neither be destroyed nor created. As long as energy has been created, it continues to exist until you make deliberate effort to recreate it. In other words, you can redirect energy, you can never destroy it. That is why the fools who tell you that they go family deliverance keep creating more problems for themselves, because there's no way you can destroy the ancestral energy. You can only rechannel, redirect its purpose, because they are divine creation that no man can alter. Am I communicating? You can't eliminate them. Rather, they will eliminate you because they know more about you than them. Am I communicating here? So there's nothing like deliverance, ancestral deliverance, whatever deliverance. Matthew Amobanje is all, you can never ever separate yourself from them. They are functional, dynamic energy forms that have purpose. You can only redirect their purpose in your life. Am I communicating here? So, there are relationships that are not working. Your husband, your wife, your relative, you find yourself, you're struggling to like the person, you're struggling to get involved, you're struggling to keep that relationship. But the reason why it's not working is because there is an internal program, a subconscious program that is against that relationship. Now, when you trade that subconscious program, it could be what started in past incarnation or what started in your childhood. Like a child who observed the mother or the father killed, we have a certain fear and hatred anchored in his mind. And as the child grows up to an adult, that fear, that tragedy will determine many of the things he will do in life. But if you ask him where did this start, he may not be able to tell because he was not young enough to understand what was happening in his or her life. Am I communicating here? And so what we are saying here is that the secret to everything around us, to the success and the failures that we experience in life, lies in our inability to understand the subconscious mind and how it works. Ihe niile kpọrọ alụsị are forces of the subconscious. Chigi is a force of the subconscious. They are just spiritual energies that we gave them in order to personalize and work with them. But they are subconscious forces. Am I communicating here? Ihe niile ndị ụka na-akọrọ gị enukọ ana asị gị Chukwu ewere pichọ Chukwu nye gị asị gị ya kpọọ Jizọs wee pichọ nye gị ha niile okpokpo asị because they are all subconscious forces that have been grounded by man, given a form of recognition so that he can easily relate with them. I don't know if I'm making sense here. So that's why I said here that anything that you are struggling to accomplish in life is an indication that your subconscious programming does not support that thing. Be it relationship, be it wealth, be it joy, be it sex, be it harmony, be it whatever thing in life. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If your subconscious mind is a program to work towards certain direction, you will never need effort to achieve those things. When your subconscious is programmed towards poverty, towards lack, towards limitation as a way of life, you'll find out that it will be easier for you to be poor than to be rich. And I tell you, many people in our country, in Africa, have been programmed to be poor. You ask why, how? There are statements you make to children that go direct to their side without you knowing it. Maybe a child may request for something, you tell them that, do you think money is easy? Once somebody believes that money is not easy to acquire, automatically a blockade of money will always be there in the person's life. Anything that will bring money to his life will be repelled because he has the belief that the program that money is not easy and therefore it must be by struggle. Does it make sense here?
Yes, sir.
How many of you we are not programmed into this kind of thinking?
Nobody.
There are lots of negative informations which we use to program our children. Oya kind of obanjo okwu. Unknown to you, whatever you say moves straight into the psychic arena to become a force and an energy form that takes life to operate. But you don't know that. That's why he said, ye are gods, but because ye not know that you are gods, you will die like mere mortals. Because what does it mean that you are gods? You are co-creators. Whatever you say is creativity in action. Whatever you think about is creativity in action. So you are forever creating your life and creating the life of the people around you without knowing it. And most times you create disaster and poverty. And in this era of social media, one evil committed in faraway United States is easily accepted to become our experience in Africa. True or false? True. The only way you can survive this time is to learn how to shield yourself from psychic bombardment that is all around you. That's it. There are a lot of psychic bombardments coming all around you. People tell you that there's nothing good that comes out of Nigeria. And the moment you do not take deliberate action to reconfigure that word, your mind accepts it. And as long as you are here, nothing good will come to you. Because the program has been placed. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that no matter the sacrifice you offer, if you don't have the right mind belief, the right mind programming, the sacrifice will work against you, because your sacrifice will only empower the mental concept which you hold in your subconscious, whether you know it or not. So what mental concept do you have of yourself? Today, when you look at the panic happening around you, ask yourself, what is really the problem? They tell you old money and new money, but then it's not true. Because many people before now have never handled the kind of money they want to handle. They want to be sure that their money is physically with them. But you have been told, use your handset to transfer. There is no phone with which you cannot transact business. Is there any phone you cannot make transfer with? At most, it will be limited if it's not Android phone. True or false? True. And so, a cashless economy has been the norm all around. The problem is that we are resisting change. Why are we resistant to change? Because there's a subconscious program in our life that is saying no to something that will better uplift us. So instead of focusing on the benefits, we are all focusing on the negatives, giving life to non-existent challenges. And then people take advantage of it. Okay, you want cash? Fine. You have to pay a certain amount to collect it. And then, today now, some people tell you they don't want to take old money. Yet, you can be a millionaire simply by collecting old money, because there are states that have made it clear that the money must continue to be in use. So in other words, if you can have means of collect from people, transfer to them, and gather it, you move that place and change it. Onye nyere 1,000 naira for 300 naira. I'll tell you before you know it, that's a business opportunity. But what I'm trying to say here is this. No matter the economy, no matter the physical situation you see, our life is controlled by our spiritual concepts. So what we're saying here, this is why I'm discussing this is, do not ever allow yourself to be a victim of the mental poisoning that is going all around you.
I hear you, sir.
There are lots of mental poisoning that is working against you. Unfortunately, many of us are not aware of the program that have been anchored in our subconscious mind. But the purpose of this is to learn how to reprogram ourselves. And so, I clean here?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about how to attune ourselves. Now, I earlier said that everything in life is made up of energy. And energy is subconscious matter that cannot be seen, though we can feel and see its outcome. All things in life are made up of energy. Now, energy is a subconscious form. Okay. It's a subconscious entity that cannot be seen in its final aspect. Energy is a subconscious entity that cannot be seen in its final aspect, though you can feel and experience its outcome. Am I communicating here? All things in life are made up of energy. Energy is a subconscious entity that cannot be seen in its final aspect, though you can feel and experience its outcome. We have discussed about energy here before, true of us. And that man is a product of energy. Now, man is a co-creator. By the understanding of energy, you give life. We live in a finished planet where everything that you ever want on earth is possible. Because by its very nature, whatever you think about, you manifest in the inner world, in the subconscious realm. When I discussed here about quantum dynamics, we said that the creation of the world was made possible by the principle of quantum dynamics. What that means is that quantum dynamics, what that means is that the moment it is said that God said, "Let there be light," there was light. There are two forms of creation, spiritual and physical. And as co-creator, the moment you think about death, you create death. The moment you think about poverty, you create poverty. The moment you think about hardship, you create hardship. However, for any of your creation, you are connected by an unseen thread of energy that follows you all around. And that energy will follow you from incarnation to incarnation until you understand the implication of what you have created and redirect, or rather remold the energy. I don't know if I'm making sense here.
Yes, sir.
And so, it is our duty to be conscious and careful of the kind of things we thought we give life to. That's why he said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever you are experiencing today is a product of your own creation. That's why we are masters of our own destiny. There is no God anywhere that blesses you. When they say God bless you, it's a lie. God does not bless you. You determine your blessing. Because all powers have been given unto you to bless or destroy your universe. And you can influence others with your creation, depending on your energy capacity. There are people that have a dynamic capacity for destruction, while there are those that have dynamic capacity for positive creativity. Now, we continue. So, wealth and poverty are forms of energies. This is why it is said that poverty and riches start in the mind. Your state of consciousness will always determine your level of productivity. That's why you are today a product of your past programming, whether in your past incarnations or your present incarnation. And every response you give to issues and situations are also indications of the programs that are lodged in your subconscious mind. I would like questions as we are talking, because questions will direct me to where you need information most. If you don't ask questions, you may not benefit from this topic as you would, as you're supposed to. Look critically around you, your experience, and what experience in your environment, and ask questions as I talk. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I was telling somebody that it costs more energy to be poor than it requires to be rich. Just like it takes more lies to maintain one lie than it requires more truth to maintain a single truth. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
You will need 1,000 lies to maintain one lie. But you don't need a backup truth to maintain any truth at all. Because for one lie, you may say one thing, tomorrow you forget it, what you said yesterday, and you say another thing. All trying to defend one single lie. But once you have spoken the truth, at any time you're free. You don't need any other to say any other word to defend that truth. That same thing about poverty. Poverty is a lie of nature. It takes more effort to defend poverty. It takes more effort to be poor. Because when you look around you, when you go to any bush around you, you see opulence, you see prosperity, you see wealth. Because the river have never stopped flowing. That's a sign of abundance and prosperity of nature. Am I communicating?
Yes.
The plants have never stopped bringing out green shoots. So that's an abundance of nature, telling you that it is easier to be rich. But the problem is that we have been programmed to work against nature. It's so simple to be in tune with God. But people have been programmed that until they start shouting and kabashing and sweating and killing themselves, you cannot talk to God, that God is deaf. That's what the Christian religion have taught. And so they must bring microphone out there to shout so that everybody passing will know that God is deaf, according to their concepts. So, by the law of attraction, we bring into our universe whatever we vibrate 2. Okay? By the law of attraction, we bring into our universe that which this is sabotaging. Somebody will come and prepare this. We bring into our universe that which we vibrate to. How do you vibrate? Every word, every thought have vibrational frequency with which it resonates. Are you aware of this? Hello?
Hi.
Are you aware that every thought or words that you speak have vibrational frequency with which it resonates? I'm talking to people, I don't know. Give me. And so, the words you say, come on, the words you say are vibrating to a certain frequency. And those words, such words will attract things that are harmonious with that word or thought, unknown to you. If only we can understand vibrations and frequency. If only we can understand vibrations and frequency, then if only we can understand vibrations and frequencies, then we can be able to know exactly why our life is the way it is. Because most times, we think that something is just ordinary thoughts or ordinary words. If you understand the implication of every spoken word or thoughts, you will be careful what you allow to pass through your mind. That is why he said that you'll be judged of every idle word or thought that passes through your lips and your mind. Now, what does it mean to be judged? There is nobody coming to judge you. It simply says you will attract and experience the consequences of every thought and word that come from you. I don't know if that's I'm making it clear.
Yes.
You will attract and experience the consequences of every word and thought that passes through your mouth and your mind. That's what it means to be judged. Now, if you have been programmed with concept of poverty, it doesn't matter who programmed you. All that matters is that you personalized it. And that is why ignorance is never an excuse. Whether you know it or not, you will always experience the consequences. There are people whose life has been programmed to relate with people who will cause them pains. There are people whose life have been programmed to relate with those who will cause them hardship or losses. And then they keep complaining that whenever they do good to people, that they respond with bad or with evil. Yesterday, I had somebody who complained of somebody he gave 700,000 and how the person refused to pay, how much he has helped people. I told him, you are simply experiencing your inner vibrations. That this is a mental concept that has been anchored in your subconscious mind. And it's because of your past life actions. This is what you did to these people, and your subconscious is resonating that you will attract such experience in order to balance your life. Because The sum total of all that we need in life is to balance out our actions. That is why onye wụrụ agụ n'ụwa mbụ ọ tagbusie ndị ọzọ ọ bịa ụwa kịta ọ wụrụ atụrụ ka ndị ahụ ọ tagburu wụrụkwa agụ ga-atagbu ya. But you don't need to continue that suffering. When you understand how to help yourself to reprogram your mind, to change the concepts, you can bring about a balance that will alter your life experiences. So, going directly to the issue of poverty and riches, when we tune radio or when you dial your phone, when you dial your phone button, it's the same process of tuning a radio. Are you aware?
Yes.
What you're dialing a code. And once that code matches a certain vibrational frequency, it will connect you to the, and you hear the voice of the person. True or false?
True.
Do you know that that is exactly the same way wealth and poverty operates? That there are unconscious codes that you are vibrating to, that you dial, that you're vibrating to the frequency, and you are attracting that experience in your life. Are you aware of this? It's not true. If you are aware of it, you will never be where you are. Many of you here are supposed to be so wealthy that you may join go on to say that you don't know what to do with the money you have. But the problem is that you were not aware that there are vibrational frequency you are emitting that is attracting the experience you are having. Now, because this has been internal program of our life that we are not aware, the purpose of today's discussion is to teach you practical steps through which you can attune yourself to positive energies that will change your life. And so I will quickly run through the principles. Now, and like I said, we attract whatever energy frequency we are tuned to. And because of our life, families and what have you, many of us are tuning to negative vibration. So remember, our topic is attuning your mind to prosperity. Now, for you to change your life from one direction to the other, number one thing you need to do is to make that decision. Until you decide to change, nothing in life can help you. There are many people who are in unhealthy relationships. There are many people who are in relationships that are deceitful. When you tell them, they will give you 1,000 reasons why they will continue. They'll tell you how the person have helped them. They'll tell you how the person suffered for them. They'll give you all reasons in the world why they must remain in that unhealthy relationship. But the reality is that they are bound by a certain psychic programming which they knew not. And so, the only point of change is decision. When you decide that you've had enough. Because unknown to you, The other party is also suffering that situation because you were attracted by subconscious karmic program. And the only thing that will separate both of you or heal both of you will be a reprogramming that will set you free so that each one will move. That is why in the teaching of the great message, he said, when two can no longer swing in harmony, it is better they separate. When two people cannot swing in harmony, when you talk about harmony, you're talking about having the peace of mind, the comfort, the open-hearted connection, the trust, the confidence. Now, you may not have all that you require, but as long as you have met 60%, that will help to gradually build the remain. But when you are not swinging in that same level with anybody, you are deceiving yourself because there's no form of prayer that will make it to work. When you're vibrating at 80 kilometer frequency hertz and the other person is vibrating at 20 kilometer frequency hertz, can both of you harmonize?
No.
It cannot, no matter how much you try. The same thing lies to prosperity. Prosperity has a vibration. So the first thing you have to do is decide what is your understanding of riches and prosperity. Because your idea of prosperity is different from my idea of prosperity. Until you decide what prosperity means to you, you can never be rich until you know what rich actually means to you. To somebody, rich means having 10 million naira in your account. To another person, it may be having houses, properties. To another person, it may be having fleet of cars. Like in Benin, you have people who are living in rented apartments and they have more than 6 cars. Because there, having a building is not something that everybody they worry about. If you travel to Francophone country, the measure of wealth is far different from what the measure of wealth here is. True of course. Eba Holingo special. That is why nde jere banya mgbe gboo aha na awụ sorry. Ọ bụ eziokwu? Fernanda Po, ha jechaa ya, a na-adọ ha adọ wee adọta ha. Ọ bụ eziokwu ka m na-ekwu. Because when you get there, you'll find that the value of prosperity is different from what you have here, and you begin to live that kind of life. Mana onye Igbo tara afụfụ ebe a ruo ebe ahụ, ogbu ha niile wee n'akpa wee nataba. So what I'm saying here is that you have to decide and define what prosperity means to you. What's your definition of prosperity? If you don't know what it is you want, if you play football without a goalpost, you can bagide that ball until you want a beach. Many of you are playing live football without a goalpost. That's why you don't know what you want in life. So the first thing you must do, starting from today, is to decide, what does riches mean to me? There are people who have cars. Somebody out there is dying to be like you, and you are there crying that you don't have money. True or false? There are people who are landlords, and they are crying that they are not rich. Meanwhile, somebody is there praying, I just want to be like this man. So the problem we have is that, number one, you don't even know what prosperity means to you. Because when you have a knowledge of what it is to be prospered, when you arrive there, you will know that you have arrived, and what you need to do is to maintain it. There will be that comfort associated with success. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So that is number one thing you have to do. In a relationship, you have to determine what you want out of a relationship. Many people go into marriage without knowing what they want in marriage. You want happiness. What does happiness mean? There are people who have happiness when they are being beaten every day. True or false?
True.
And so if the other man's happiness is inflicting pain on you, and your happiness is not that in that place, can the two of you swing?
No.
There are women whose happiness lies in seeing the husband in pains. Ọ dị m o kwesịrị na-ebu ibu a, o kwesịrị na-asọfị ya, ọ ihe nwoke kwesịrị ime. Ịnọkọta jụọ gị otu ndị nwoke ọzọ si alụ nwunye ha, si akịta kpalachakwa gị anya na abịa nna gị. If you cannot be a partner in progress with me, we can't swim together. And therefore, we must sit down to understand what progress means. Most families are just existing in illusion. The husband is going one direction, the wife is going one direction. They have no cohesive direction or decision that of what prosperity or success means. True or false?
No.
Then how can such families succeed? Success begins with the knowledge of what you really want in life. So prosperity is different from town hall, bulaba, and what even good. All right, so I said the first thing is to decide what you want, define it for yourself, commit yourself, and resolve to succeed at all costs. Because everything in life needs time. You can achieve something in an instant in the inner world, in the spiritual world. But for that thing to manifest physically, you need time and perseverance, or rather I would say focus. If you cannot have the time to pay the price, you will continue failing over and over. Then, the next thing will be to adopt an empowering belief. An empowering. One thing is that many people do things they don't even believe in. You get involved in things you don't believe in just because another person is doing it. An empowering belief is the reason behind what you do. I remember that before Chukwuabiama Synagogue became what it is today, I went through challenges of non-acceptance from my family members, from friends, abandonment, where people did not believe in it. For years, my son could not even tell people that this is what his father is doing. He was ashamed that his father is a native doctor. For my wife, she was always telling me I should not expose myself, I should do it quietly. And for me, I always want to come to the marketplace to showcase what I'm doing. Because I had that inner conviction that if I must eat a toad, I must eat the fattest one.
Yes, sir.
And that is all the empowering belief you need to know that no matter what, this is who I am. Because let me tell you, in package now, buputia n'ahịa, people can ask no excuses, is it not? When you believe in it and you begin to convince people why they will buy it, why it is the best menu, over time, when somebody buys and tries it and it works, the story of the best menu in town will start trending. Is it true or false? If you do not believe in any venture, get out of it. It's of no use to you. You need to adopt an empowering belief that supports that direction you're going, no matter what opposition there is. That is the number one. The number two secret of attuning yourself towards prosperity. If you understand what prosperity means to you, then you have to believe that you are worthy to achieve that. And you can create some affirmations. Yesterday, I was in a meeting and people were saying different things about money. You have to be detached. You have to, money is a tool. They were saying different things and I come and say, let me tell you something. I love money. I love money and money loves me. I don't believe in this nonsense people are talking about. They said it's mundane, it's a lower world. They say good. While I'm in the lower world, I love money and money loves me. It's as simple as that. I have no apology to anybody. Whatever you love, you vibrate and you attract. Am I communicating here? Yes. So, now let's talk about the most important aspect of attunement, of tuning yourself into any vibration is imagination and assumption. What is imagination? Imagination is a visual concept of the outcome of your expectations. Now, if you cannot imagine yourself in the position you really want to be in life, you can never acquire that thing. That thing can never come to you. Because imagination is a mental creation of the future concepts that you desire to experience. And therefore, being a mental concept of the future expectations, you have to assume yourself having that very thing that you want. Now, when you look at this, for everyone that wants to tune him or herself into prosperity, you need to create time. Your mind, you are what you are because of the programming you have been programmed from childhood. You can alter such programming by a deliberate creation of who you want to be. And what to do that is this. The first thing you need to do is to create a vision board. What is a vision board? It's a pictorial image, a pictorial concept of your future life. Because every picture speaks more words than 1,000 words put together. True or false? True. That is why every religion on earth cannot be said to be a religion without an image, a conceptual image representing its belief. That's why for the Christian, what is their image of belief? The image of Jesus. For the Islam, what's theirs? Moon and star. The Hindus have their own, every form of religion. Because image is a symbol that speaks directly to your subconscious mind. Every word you speak, every thought that goes through your mind always have an image accompanied. True or false? When you're reading a novel, you're just reading the words. There are pictures playing in your mind as you read. True or false? Yes. That tells you that the power to change your life lies in your mental image. When you think of Nigeria, what image comes to your mind? Hello? What image comes to your mind when you think of Nigeria? Stop deceiving yourself.
Suffering.
Now you're talking. That's the problem. You now have you in a simple sentence, you have discovered the root of your problem. When you delete the name Nigeria and you rewrite it, what do you call it? You call it any other name. You call it, what do you call it? America or Panya. Does it change the mental concept? Yes. But will it change the experience you are going through overnight?
No.
The problem of Nigeria is that her leaders are mentally empty. That they lack the ability to conceptualize an image that the Nigerian, the inhabitants of the nation, will have in their mind. The collective mental concept of the people bring about their physical experience. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Where 1 million people conceive poverty as the state of their nation, there's nothing you will do to change the economy of that environment. So Nigeria have no economic problem. What we have is mental problem. You don't have economic challenge or problem. What you have is mental problem. That is why when we talk about mental slavery is a form of programming where you are given a negative concept of existence and you believe it. Like you were told that black represent the devil and therefore you are a product of the devil and you cannot be productive. And you believe it. So there's no name you give this nation that will change until that mental poisoning is changed. Am I talking to somebody?
Yes, sir.
But the problem we have is that your Nigeria is not the same thing as my Nigeria. Because in my mind, My concept of Nigeria is filled with opulence and abundance. I went to market a cabaret the other day. While they were busy not talking about old money, I bought everything I bought. Simply gather people. You have account. All right. You. All right. All your money. This man will bring it to you. I simply transferred and put extra money for you to pull it out without stress. When I was going, I already know that I can do it whether people want it or not. Because the concept you have of yourself and your experience will determine who you attract into your sphere. Am I making sense here? Yes. We are where we are because the collective mental concepts of people around us are negative. That's what is called group consciousness. The group energy dynamics of Nigerians are poor. And so, for you, though you are in Nigeria, you don't need to be of Nigeria. You need to tune your mental concept of your life. How do you do that? You start by creating a picture, a vision board of who you wish to become. And then, every morning, once you rise up, you will go and sit down before that, look at it vividly, close your eyes and begin to daydream. See where you are living in opulence. Begin to feel the joy. Now, let me tell you, all the guys in the house, do you remember the time you were pursuing that babe? How you will sit back and imagine how you feel to have that baby in your arms. Did you remember? Ichetelia? My bros, Ichetelia? I'm talking to you. Do you remember? For all the babes in the house. Do you remember when you were in the house and you were imagining how will it be to have this young man as my lover? How to hold him in my arms, to kiss his lips. Did you remember? I'm talking to you. Yes. When I was toasting you, do you remember when I was bringing more money to you? And you imagine how it would be to marry this man? Do you remember? Yes, yes. I'm going to do that to you. Let me know how you felt when I was toasting you. Now let me tell you this. This is how you toast wealth. If you cannot toast wealth until you are make sexual arousal arise in you, you make love with your concepts in order to have it. Am I communicating here? Yes. If you don't make love to your dream, if you don't imagine it so much that it begins to arouse you sexually, to arouse the emotion of pure pleasure in you, you cannot have it. When you sit down, first thing in the morning, you look at your dream picture, you begin to imagine how it is, how you have become that. You continue for 10 minutes, allow yourself. For the first few days, you will not have any feelings. But you know, when in that dream you're thinking about it, and there's a particular babe you have been hustling, and there's a particular young man or man you want, and the man, you put him in that picture, you see where that person is now coming down, running after you. Please now. Put my own excitement. Hello? Hi. When you begin to have that satisfaction, that arousal, you know that you have connected to the force of creativity. You do that for 10 minutes. Then before you go to sleep, again you do that last thing before you sleep. Over time, you see that when you dream, you're dreaming of yourself in that world. But in actuality, what you're doing is retuning your subconscious mind to vibrate at the level of that expectation. Before you know it, it becomes a habit. But even when people say this is not possible, you tell them, sorry, I know I must have it. When your friends will say, man, that baby is not easy to reach, you say, don't worry, I know my game. Hello guys, not be so. And for the babes, when they tell you that man is obnoxious, you say, don't worry, he's in my palm, I'll get him. Because you're busy tuning your vibration to rise to meet the frequency of the existence of that concept. This is how to tune yourself into abundance, into riches. Finally, you need to ground that energy with sacrifice. It will only be Nroyabas, an illusion that you enjoy in the dream and physically you will not have it. There was an actor in Hollywood who came from a very poor background, and he was a cleaner in the system, always in the film environment. And he decided that he wants to be rich. And so what he did was he created a check for himself for $10 million, $10 million check. And what he was doing every night before he go to sleep, he will bring that check, he will be looking at it, he will be imagining himself where he's been given 10 million as a result of his acting career, where people are filled in the audience are clapping, and where he's a star. He said he continued doing that. This is an idea he stumbled onto. Unknown to him, that was a vision board, because $10 million represents the highest money that could ever be earned at that time by anybody. And while he was doing this, he has finished his cleaning and was watching those that were acting on sets. Unfortunately, somebody who was supposed to be in the set was not available. I think he was sick or something. They didn't have anybody. So the director said, you come here, do this, come and stay here, do this. And he came there, he was scared. And he did what he was to do. And when he did that, by the time they reviewed it, they discovered that he was even better than the star. And then, in subsequent movies, they were including him and started paying him prices. Before you know it, he became a hot demand that different directors and producers were seeking for his presence in their films. Now, that made him a multi-millionaire. I told you about this house, how I cut out a picture of a building with 2 cars parked in the garage. I was living as a tenant somewhere, and I was always visualizing myself living in that building. And while that was going on, after years, when the building has been erected, because when I came here, I started with 1 room. I never had any intention of building downstairs. But after the years when the building have come up, I was doing some cleaning and I stumbled upon that picture and I said, wow. I started going around to look at the design. I found out that 40% of the design of the house was what was in that paper. You can design your life to whatever you want it to be. Your problem these days is that you don't even know what you want. Decide what you want and design your life accordingly. Like what I said earlier, until you can conceive what you want, until you can understand actually what it means to you to have it, and begin to visualize yourself morning and evening before going to sleep, doing that thing, having the very thing you want, you can never achieve it. But once you have programmed this concept in your mind, nothing in life can stop you from having it. Because it will alter the kind of friends around you. It will change the kind of experience you're having. It will change everything around you. Because like terms attract, while unlike terms repel. You don't need to ask anybody not to be around you. All you need to do is to change your dream concept of your life. Focus on it, and you'll find yourself moving away from people who are not in harmony with the vibrations you are emitting. What I'm saying here is that the key to your life lies in your hands. Right questions.
Somebody raised the Chuku said, does it mean when we assist someone and they said, God bless you, that it doesn't come to pass?
All right. When you talk about God blessings, God blessing is a karmic directed energy. The blessing of God in somebody's life will mean death for him, so that he can pay for the price he's owing. So, God blessing is an energy directed at you. What the blessing brings in your life is up to you. If you have deserved heartbreak, that blessing will bring heartbreak to you. So, the question is, are you aware of who you are and the coming vibrations around you? When you tune this vibration towards a certain direction, then the blessing will bring your expected result. Otherwise, that blessing will come, but you don't know what it will be.
Cosmos Weke said, can my vision board be more than one picture, or more than one thing to achieve?
A vision board is a concept of the totality of your life desire. So, in one picture, you can include different things, or you simply pick up the end point of your desire and focus on it. That's what it means. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing will be added. What is that kingdom? Your life success desire. Seek to visualize it. Conceptualize your idea of success and begin to think and work towards that thing. Every other thing you need will be added unto you. That's what that place is talking about.
Amaka said, does it mean that even if you have it in your mind or program that you really want to be rich, does it mean that you don't need to work to achieve that richness?
Now, having it in your mind is not enough, because the human mind is subject to change. But having a crystallized concept where you can look at it and recognize it, that's what the reason of symbol, that's the reason of images. That's why anywhere symbol, yeah, because of a subconscious entity. However, whatever energy form you anchor, if you do not make deliberate efforts to achieve it, sorry, because if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. And so, any other question?
I have a question.
Okay.
And we had a village, even in the town, in the city. amụọ nwa mara ezigbo mma imetụ nwa ha gasị anyị na-emaka ị ga-akwe ngana gị na-akwụsị mba kasị ya na ọmaka isi ya na ọjọọ.
Now, what you see there is that the mental concept of a people have become a subconscious program that determine their life experience. And so, many people believe that when you start praising that child, no wanje, no gonna last. And that's why they say that. But one man's meat is another man's poison. In another land, they have a different concept. But what is important for you is to investigate the root cause so that you can sever your link to that energy that is not harmonious with your own desire. Ọwụrụgodu ọgbụgba ndụ ji family unu ma ọ ji village unu agba afọ achọpụta ebe gịnị ya si wee connect ya enwe ike bugharịara gị the direction of your own. Ọ ya asị na-ebugharị ọgbụgba ndụ gị so that what affects the others will no longer affect you. Ọwụ na a na-ebubi ụdọ ihe a na-eme channel your own direction of that energy. That is the effect on you. Because the same energy, just like ebe agbara ọkụ, different people na-enweta ife ọkụ, but what they do with it is different. Am I communicating? And so that's how it is. What I'm saying here is that with what we discussed today, it is in your hand and your ability to attune your mind to prosperity and opulence, wealth, harmony, and peace. It is not by verbal saying. It's not by verbal desire. It takes a minimum of 3 months, which is 90 days, to reprogram the human mind. What that means is that you must create a deliberate program that you will focus upon and visualize about at least 10 minutes every night before you go to sleep. The reason why it's important every night before you go to sleep is that while you are asleep, your subconscious mind will always pick upon the last information given to it to work on it. That is why sometimes when you read certain news or a story, tragedy, when you sleep, you see yourself dreaming about that thing. What you have done was simply program that thing to become your own personal experience so that you begin to attract that kind of tragedy in your life without knowing it. That's why you should never ever, anything before you go to sleep. I formed the habit before I go to sleep, I listen to good music and I forward to my loved ones music so that it becomes what they listen to. What does that music put in your mind? It puts your mind of happiness and joy. As you listen to it before going to sleep, it tunes your mind into loftier ideals instead of the negative experience and situation in your environment. Am I communicating here?
Yes.
Learn to be in charge of your mental concept, especially before going to sleep. Don't ever listen or put your eyes or attention on anything that will not be uplifting to you before you go to sleep. More so, create a mental vision. You can add the music to it so that you can create it as in your phone that you'll be listening to the music. Certain music can be used to anchor to your vision so that any time you listen to that music, a picture plays in your mind. I remember, I want to say this, when at a particular time, when things were so difficult for me, there was this music that was ringing at that time by Michael Bolton. And each time I visualize myself where I'm a lecturer teaching, because I've always loved to pass message to people. And then I will be playing the music and I'll be singing it. And the song always tell me that no matter the challenge, I will always rise. And so, with permission from Michael Bolton, I want to close with this music. Gonna break the chains around me. Gonna learn to fly again. Might take time, but I do it. When I'm back on my feet again. Soon these tears will all be dried again. Soon these eyes will see the sun. Might take time, but I do it. When I'm back on my feet again. When I'm back on my feet again. I'll be back.
Back on my feet